Some of y'all probably don't know this about me, but I'm a big fan of Supernatural, the TV show on WB will turn into the CW later on. I probably watched the show continuously, well, almost continuously in its 15 years of life. It's amazing that the show lasted that long with all the off the rail plots and everything, and all kinds of weirdo stuff that happened. Sometimes I forget what year is it. What year is it really now? 2020? Yeah, sometimes I forget. It seems like 2020 has been going on for a long time. It seems like 2018 was a long time ago. And it seems like 2005 was almost 200 years ago. The year of the show's inception. I probably started watching the show around 2009. I was introduced by my younger cousin. First, I thought it was corny. And then I started seeing what they was getting into with the monsters, guns, the crew car, the women, the hot women. And then I got into the story and I was like, you know what? I'm thinking differently now. This show is absolutely amazing. After season 5, yes, the season got even crazier. But hey, I continued to keep watching it. No, the show was canceled or even unwatchable like some other CW shows that I'm not going to say any names, but they know who they are. Now, this show is almost close to over, and I'm saddened by it. This show, like I said, had everything, and now it's over for good. I have nothing. There's no other TV show that I watch continuously and religiously like Supernatural. But now it's gone. But let's go in. This little show was the brainwork of Eric Kripke. He was trying to develop this series for about 10 years. He was always fascinated with urban legends and the supernatural. Originally, he wanted a film, but I guess a TV show was the way to go. So Kripke took his idea to the steps of Fox, then to Warner Brothers. The studios, Warner Brothers meaning, was familiar with Kripke's work, for he wrote for the show called Tarzan in 2003. It was canceled after 8 episodes. In the early phases of Supernatural's creation, Kripke thought an anthology series. Then, to 2 reporters traveling the country fighting demons. Warner Brothers didn't like that idea, so Kripke came up with 2 brothers from Lawrence, Kansas. He picked the town because it was closest to Stoll Cemetery, a creepy location known for its urban legends, the devil, and the Hell's Gate. The names of the brothers were originally Sal and Dean, and how much the road novel On the Road. The name Sal was kicked to the curb, plus he sounds Italian, then changed to Sam instead. Kripke wanted the last name of the brothers to be Harrison after Harrison Ford because Kripke wanted Dean to have that same smugglish attitude as the Ford's character, the old scruffy looking nerf herder Han Solo. Instead, the last name picked was Winchester after that creepy maze house in the Bay Area, also a fitting name for a modern day western. He really wanted to make the show a modern day western, just 2 gunslingers fighting monsters, getting the woman, and riding out of town. Now, for that famous car the brothers rode in, a black 1967 Chevy Impala, or let's do it better, Chevrolet Impala. The idea came from Kripke's love for Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider. The original plan was to have a 1965 Ford Mustang, but his neighbor insisted something bigger. Something big enough you can hide a body in the trunk. Or guns. And ammo. After setting up most of the characters and items, Kripke selected Wonderland Sound and Vision, owned by McG, famous for directing, which I would say, the better Terminator sequel, Terminator Salvation. McG agreed, and even directed some of the episodes of the show. For Wonderland and Sound and Vision became the producer for the series. Kripke was also able to take some of the Fox executives that he pitched the show to as producers. The visual effects for the show were and are done by Entity FX, and they didn't do a bad job at all for a TV show. What's better than other TV shows I've seen. The visual effects supervising Ivan Hayden had a task to fill, reading the script and to determine what kinds of effects were needed. Hoping he received excellent payment for his work. That sounds like a lot of work. The music for the show features a synthesized orchestra score, but still uses real-life instruments and recordings. The show had 2 composers. The score every other week and every other episode, just to clarify. Also, the show featured famous bands that Kripke was a fan of in their songs, even though sometimes they got too expensive. Then there was problems with the script, putting a plot together. The script was difficult. In the beginning of the script, reading phases, the brothers were raised by their uncle and aunt, Skywalker style, but that was scrapped. Instead, they was raised by their parents. Dean comes to Sam for help, confirming to him that the supernatural does exist. Sam's girlfriend, Jessica, was a demon, but that was tossed aside. Dean was a serial killer who Sam thought killed their father, but that was also scrapped. To add to the team of writers and producers, Robert Singler, a producer of the Fox sci-fi show The X-Files, helped add ideas onto the show. Eventually, Singler will be showrunner later on for the show in the later seasons. Kripke originally wanted 3 seasons, then to 5 seasons, but the explosive final 5th season. But that didn't happen, did it? In developing the story and plot, every episode would highlight a different monster or supernatural being from every episode, of course. The filming started in Los Angeles in the earlier seasons before moving to Vancouver, British Columbia. As for main characters, it wasn't hard to find actors, really. Jared Padalecki, that's how you pronounce it, Sam Winchester, was familiar with director McG and was very interested with the role, being a fan of the X-Files. Plus, he wanted to play a character that was reluctant in the beginning, but had to answer to the call of being a hero, similar to Luke Skywalker. As for Jensen Ackles auditioned for the role of Sam, but fit way better in the role of Dean, of course. At the time, Jensen Ackles already had a role in another WB/CW show called Smallville. His role in the show was cut short. As for the boy's father, John Winchester, will be played by Jeffrey Bardeen Morgan. It's a joke, people. Or I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Do the 2 actors look the same? Did they just look the same to you? Anyways, seems like Morgan's character is always playing the fathers of famous children. Sometimes. Okay, enough about the history and origins of the show. Let's get into what made the show. Meaning the plot and story. Now, I won't get into every aspect of each season. That will take decades. Okay, maybe not decades, but that will take years. But just a small synopsis, starting with season 1. And maybe one year, or maybe one time, I might do every season as part of the show. Season 1 starts out with 26 episodes, started on Tuesday nights on the WB in 2005. As the show begins, we begin with Sam as a baby, Dean as a small child, seeing their mother die mysteriously in a fire. This leads to their father, John, becoming a hunter, believing her death had something to become of supernatural. Okay, that's enough playing. He eventually trains the boys to follow in his footsteps. Many years later, now, Sam's a college student at Stanford with his girlfriend named Jessica. Dean is now a womanizing, cool, smooth hunter that drives a cool car. He finds Sam, asking him to join him in finding their missing father. The college kid Sam refuses. He refuses to go back into the hunter's life, but joins him anyway for the sake of their own father. The brothers' first opponent in this episode, the woman in white. She's very hot in this episode, but also creepy too. Nor did they find their father, but still hot on the trail of their missing father. But at the end of the pilot episode, Sam discovers his girlfriend is killed in the same manner as his mother. Angered, confused, determined to find out, Sam returns to the life of monster hunting with his brother once again. And I will conclude this in the next episode called Season 2 to Season 5. As Season 1 kicks off, Sam starts to investigate Jessica's death and continue to look for their father. Along the way, they encounter an assortment of monsters: the Wendigo, Bloody Mary, vampires, ghosts, witches, and of course, demons. I think in the episode The Wendigo, as it's called, I think the fake Han Solo starred in it. And his name was Ben. Yes, Alden Hidden Hike, whatever his name is, was also in this episode, young Han Solo. Ugh. Anyways, eventually the brothers find their father captured by the season's antagonist, Meg, and her father, the Yellow-Eyed Demon, aka Arazo. I said that right. I think I said that right. I think that's right. But they call him the Yellow-Eyed Demon during the whole entire season. They don't really know the name of him, of course. John Winchester has spent most of this season and his life looking for this demon and a way to kill the demon, or the Yellow-Eyed Demon, by using the Colt, a demon-killing pistol. Learning that their father has been captured by the demons after acquiring the gun, actually it was a fake gun, the brothers enlist the help of family friend, the grouchy and the very grouchy Bobby Singer. He's almost like an uncle to the boys. The boys stop Meg by sending her back to hell. The Yellow-Eyed Demon, now possessing John, tries to destroy the boys' plans, but facing down the barrel of the real Colt, the demon escapes John's body. With father and sons united, but the reunion is cut short by a semi-driver, destroying the Impala in the end. Season 2, this season premieres on the new CW network, a joint venture of the WB and the UPN. Man, I miss both of those stations. But anyways, we get new characters that are bound to stick around, like the Hunter duo, mother-daughter duo, Ellen and Joe, Gordon Walker, the Trickster, and Hawkman. Plus the annoying FBI agent Victor Hankerson, who is on the trail of the boys. In Season 2, the boys in the hospital following the car crash in Season 1. Dean is dying, but by the father's love, John exchanges his life in the Colt to the Yellow-Eyed Demon, now known as Eraser. I hope I pronounced that right. The boys are messed up, but they have to keep on pushing. As far as the antagonists, or even some of the alien monsters they encounter along the way, here's who they encounter. They encounter a Hindu demon, Reapers, the ghosts of H.H. Holmes, Linda Blair guest stars, Hellhound, Shapeshifters, with them getting in trouble with the FBI agent, plus werewolves, and of course the Trickster once again. The main plot of this season, Erazo carried a bunch of crack-headed fools, blood fiends, psychics, including Sam, and then Hawkman, aka MC Ren, aka Jake Tooley is his name. MC and Ren kills Sam, but revive when Dean makes a deal with the hot Crossroads demon. In the end, the Yellow-Eyed Demon is destroyed. But now the gates of hell open, releasing demons onto the world. 3 was a somber one for the oldest Winchester boy, Dean. He was facing death again. At death, he tries to escape. The third season received mixed reviews from both critics and fans alike. In a way, this season kinda had a girl power feel to it, but without all the stupid politics. We get more new characters. Ruby, a demon helping the brothers turn Dean's fate around. Bella Talbot, a thief only looking for herself, by helping the brothers or antagonize them at the same time. We do have some returns like the annoying FBI agent Herkerson, who's still bent on trying to capture the boys. The Trickster, Bobby, and Gordon Walker all return. Actually, Gordon Walker, I think, changes to a vampire in this episode. I could be wrong. During this season, I felt the anguish, the despair. In the early part of the season, Dean tries to party like it's 1999, but that feeling fades as the despair starts to creep in. Outside, Dean's up-and-coming personal day, the brothers try to stop the escaped demons from hell and battle the likes of Lilith, who continues to be a thorn in the brothers' side for seasons to come. Lilith's goal? Kill the Winchesters. In Season 3's final episode, No Rest for the Wicked, the boys learn that Lilith carries the Dean's contract and basically holds his life in her hands. Originally, the writers had a different ending to this season, but was changed due to the 2007 and 2008 writers' strike. The final episode was praised, and the final scene of the episode was said to be the most tedious shot for the visual effects department, and it was quite nerve-wracking for Jensen Ackles himself. Season 4. Dean is magically lifted out of hell, waking up in a coffin in the middle of nowhere. His only clue, a big handprint burnt on his shoulder. Meanwhile, Sam has teamed up and been fornicating with a new version of Ruby, played by Padalecki's real-life wife. Sam becomes more in tune with his demonic powers, causing rifts between him and Dean. This is one of the many rifts the brothers will have up until the final season, and they're quite hilarious too. This season, we also received the first appearance of, alright, wait for it, Castiel, the brother's personal agent. But this season just doesn't include one angel, but multiple angels, whose mission is to stop Leah from releasing Lucifer and breaking the seals, as well to break Lucifer out of his prison. New characters introduced are the psychic Pamela Barnes, angels Uriel and Zachariah, who are complete asshats. I hate saying that about angels, but yes, they're asshats. Another powerful demon named Alistair, who beats the horses off Dean in one episode. And the brothers have a younger brother named Adam, who is a result of father knocking boots with Road Tail. This season is not bad at all, but for some reason the brothers have a real problem with banging demons and angels. Sam bags Ruby, and Dean bags an angel named Anna. With Sam's growing demonic powers, he destroys all the seals, including Lydia, but also releases Lucifer on the world at the same time. Season 5 is hot fire. It was supposed to be the end of the series. It was set up to be. Now, Season 5, I think, is one of the best seasons out of all 15 seasons. The build-up from the previous seasons was excellent. Sam does try to keep his best to keep things together, but the devil's after him, after his meat suit, to use as a vessel to hold the power for the current human vessel, who cannot hold up with all that much power that Lucifer contains. Lucifer, especially in Season 5, he is seen as that tragic character. The very tragic character you kind of will feel bad for, but yeah, I don't like feeling bad for the devil. But anyways, he's basically tragic. A tragic type of villain, but he's very sneaky. Lucifer tries to con Sam into saying yes to him. Once that happens, hell on earth is unleashed. As for Dean, we get to see him a little bit more caring about humanity. He does not want this world to end, whoever wants the world to end. And he's also somewhat getting chased to be the vessel for the Archangel Michael, the oldest of God's archangels and sons. The slayer Lucifer, his own brother. Well, Michael's brother is Lucifer. But Dean refuses, saying he'd rather mix dirt and eat feces with it, whatever that means. I just wrote that for the meeting, but he didn't say that. He didn't really say that, but you get the point. But he doesn't want to be a puppet for Michael. For some reason, we get Paris Hilton starring in the episode. It's weird. The dread of the season even gets to me as well. The brothers are trying everything to avoid the end of the world. Sam is trying to do everything to avoid saying yes to Lucifer. The boys even ally themselves with the likes of Crowley, a demon from hell who opposes Lucifer. Also, Death of the Four Horsemen himself. New characters of the season are Crowley, more archangels like Raphael, Gabriel, who is actually the trickster from the previous seasons, Jody Mills, and the Four Horsemen, who are represented pretty well with their depictions. In the end, it all comes down to Sam actually saying yes to the devil, with Dean, Bobby, Castiel, even appearance from Michael, who now uses the younger brother Adam as a meat suit. All seems lost, but it is really. Lucifer does not prevail, but the heroes still catch hell, even when winning. Will Dean ever quit hunting monsters? Will Sam overcome Lucifer's grasp? Will Bobby ever stop being grumpy? Join us next time on Supernatural. Last time on Supernatural, Sam sacrificed himself so Lucifer won't rise, sending himself into Lucifer's cage. Dean goes on to live a happy life with Lisa and her son. Castiel, who knows? Bobby, still grumpy. For some reason, Sam is seen outside of Dean and Lisa's house. Now, for season 6 to 15. I wasn't gonna get too much about each season with like I did in part 2. Like I said, there's 15 seasons, by the way. So I'm going to start with the 6th season to the 5th season. So hang on, it's about to be bumpy and fast. Season 6. Sam has mysteriously risen from hell. Dean comes out of retirement, but this time to stop Eve, the mother of all, the original creator of the supernatural beings. This season ends with Castiel becoming the crazed god. This season also marks the first season without Eric Kripke as showrunner, but he did write the last episode of the 6th season and stayed on as producer, giving the showrunner crown to Sarah Gamble, a writer for the show since day one. Also, the boys' grandfather on their mother's side appears, Sam. Season 7. The brothers are forced to fight a new powerful enemy called the Leviathans, a nasty mess of creatures led by this annoying, smiling bastard prick, Dick Roman. The brothers enlist the help of Crowley, who tried to strike a deal with Dick Roman early in the episode, but that failed, since he's now the king of hell too. Crowley, I mean. I was not a big fan of this episode at all. Thought it was kind of dry and I felt the show was losing steam. After the defeat of the Leviathans, Dean wakes up in purgatory with a new friend, a vampire named Benny. In this season, the brothers team up with a prophet named Kevin. Their mission? To close the gates of hell for good. Well, that didn't work at all. Enjoy the angry angels on Earth, boys. Nah, I really didn't pay any attention to this season at all. I had to watch it on Netflix a couple years later. I still wasn't invested, but I did watch it all. This would be the first year that the Warner Brothers production would take over. So McGee and Wonderland Studios, you'll be missed. You'll get the boot. See y'all way out. Season 9, Angels on Earth. And they start a civil war with each other, with Castiel and the boys in the middle of it. Also, Sam is playing head games with angels. Now, with the fractions of angels on Earth, Dean becomes a victim to one of them, named Metatron. God's right-hand writer of the book, I think that's what he was. Now, this has probably been the 10,000th time that Dean has kicked the bucket. Plus, Snooki is a guest star in this episode for some reason. I don't know why. By this time, I think her popularity was already going down, but I guess. Millennials. Season 10. Dean is now a demon. He has become good friends with Crowley. Actually, I thought the season wasn't that bad. It was quite exciting in the first couple of episodes. Dean was a real badass as a demon, kicking that kid who wanted revenge for killing his father in the past. But Dean has to struggle. For much of the season, he has to struggle with the Market King. Plus, a new enemy has been unleashed. The darkness, who puts a fear even into the hearts of Lucifer and God himself. I never knew God was feared, but this is fictional, right? Yes, it is. Season 11. Well, I guess the darkness wasn't too bad if you're Dean. The darkness' real name? Amara. She has some weird attraction to Dean, probably for unlocking her out of her cage, but they finally get to see God, which was a real twist. Anyways, it takes the brothers, Castiel, Lucifer, Crowley and his mother Rwanda, a bunch of angels, Metatron, and many more, to defeat Amara. This season did not end the way I expected. It actually ended, well, like I said, not what I expected. I'm not going to go too much into it. You watch it yourself. It's on Netflix. If you still have Netflix. I know some of y'all gets cuties like me, but yeah. Bootleg it if you have to. Season 12 is another Lucifer on a loose season. This time he impregnates a presidential staffer named Kelly, who's using the President of the United States meat suit to do this deed. Yeah, this gets real weird. They just can't give up with Lucifer as a character. I guess he's appealing to whoever it appeals to, but this tryst that he has with the staffer, it creates a son, a half angel, half human, by the name of Jack, who becomes allies with the boys in Castiel. Plus the boys are locked up this season, dealing with the Prince of Hell also, while Crowley and his mother, plus multiverses, the mental letters which I really didn't think fit into this season. Did I mention the boy's mother Mary is now alive again? Season 13 becomes a season of girl power, but that shot down real quickly. And I do have to admit, it wasn't that bad, but I don't think they was ready for that. And it wasn't what bad that either. But we all know why that was probably shot down. So you look at the CW playing field now these days. The plot: Lucifer's son, multiverses, more Princes of Hell, and a Michael from a different world, who's even worse than the original Michael. Finally, Lucifer gets the knife, and a crossover with Scooby-Doo. Oh, that's nice. In this episode with Scooby-Doo, Dean Fell's trying to do the thing. You know, the thing with Daphne. You know the thing.
Go, you know the thing.
Season 14. So this new version of Michael from a different world finally gets his claws into Dean after making a terrible deal with him to kill Lucifer. And it's not pretty. Well, this season marks the 300th episode. Oh, whoopee. But I can tell by the writing, the writers, they was coming up with things to make a show. A lot of it was copy and paste, repeats of other seasons. But I kept watching for some reason, because I was that invested. Maybe it was just me. Lucifer comes back one more time. What is up with Lucifer? God! But he finally gets vanquished. Thank God. Plus a special episode with the Winchesters, including John himself, share dinner together like a big happy family. Plus Death is equally annoying. I don't know why Death is even an issue anymore, but whatever. And I can say the same thing about God. God is not supposed to be an annoying imbecile, bent on destruction and various temper tantrums, because, who knows. I think this was a dig at the real God. Tis, tis, tis on you people in Hollywood. Tis, tis, tis. Yeah, but this show has gone off the rails by this point. Now that God is angry with the boys, what will happen next? Will the boys survive? Will the boys die? Will God die? Will Michael be seen again? Will we finally get Lucifer again for the 100th time? Join us next time on Supernatural Part 4. And I dreaded this day for a long time now. Season 15 is upon us. And by the time this video is released, Season 15 will be over. Thus, the 15 years of monster slaying will be over for good. I'm saddened by this. I very much am. All good things do come to an end. God has gone crazy in 615, releasing the dead upon the earth. It's up to the boys in Castiel to slay the dead, put them back to the hull. And they also come across the likes of Jack the Ripper and John Wayne Grayson. Interesting pick, writers. The early parts of this season, a couple enemies turn allies, bite the dust. Castiel is losing power for the 100th time. During much of the season, God, or Chuck in this case, has an evil ending for the boys, and the boys don't like playing around with God's plan. The boys go, destroy Chuck, or at least stop him. Lots of callbacks make an appearance in this season. Lydia returns, Leviathans, Ruby the Demon, Amara, Meg, Billy the Goddess, or the Goddess of Death. It's equally annoying, she just annoys me. Also, Michael and Adam reappear. The Earth 1 Michael. Once again, I will not go too much into the season. You have to watch it yourself. Maybe just a little bit. Also in this season, multiverses are still a thing. For some reason, Supernatural, it wants to be like DC. Plus we get a new sort of type of enemy, the Baba Yaga. Probably the only episode that kind of reminds you of the earlier episodes. For some reason, Chuck goes all Thanos at the end. as far as the last two episodes, I felt like the last two episodes, or maybe the second to last episode, was the real ending. Without spoiling too much of it, because you can go watch it yourself, but for some reason, some way, somehow, Hollywood has a weird obsession with death. I have mixed feelings about the series for now. I felt it was rushed and also cheap. To me, it wasn't a big payoff for the last 15 years as the longest running sci-fi / horror series in the US history of television. The second last episode felt like it was the last episode because it felt like it was. It was the proper ending. After 15 seasons, I expected better. But at least it didn't go the way of Game of Thrones or Dexter. But it's not really far off. Now I went onto Facebook to see anybody else complain about the last episode. Didn't see the last episode as satisfying. And a lot of people didn't see the last episode as being satisfying. A lot of people cried. I try not to tear up in some spots towards the end, but a lot of people were just not satisfied. Maybe because it is the last episode and they expected more, or they just expected more episodes, expected another season, but the writers, Hollywood writers, they have a hard time coming up with good endings for characters. Yes, I'm talking to the writers of various media, Avengers Endgame, Game of Thrones, etc., etc. Outside of Supernatural, it has its fan base, of course, and merchandise, of course. Starting with Wildstorm Comics, subsidiary of DC, produced a 6-issue comic book miniseries called Supernatural Origins, depicting the early lives of the Winchesters. Then with Supernatural, the Rising Sun, depicting Dean following his father's footsteps. Then Supernatural Beginning, End, deals with Sam leaving his family for Stanford. There's also the fourth one called Caledonia or Supernatural, The Days of Edinburgh, which dealt with Sam in the United Kingdom, but I don't know if that's even on the shelves. None of these I have read. And then we have the spin-off series. Lots of spin-off series. Some of them didn't get off the ground, like Ghostfacers, based off the Ghostfacers Ed and Harry from the earlier seasons. It never got off the ground, but it did get a webisode. Is that how you pronounce it? Webisode in 2011 when the Ghostfacers meet Castiel, but never seen that either. Then it was Supernatural anime, not the anime series. Oh no, not the anime series. The anime series, which I think lasted only one season. The show basically just shows the childhood for the boys. He even had Jensen and Jared even lending their voices for the English dub. Then it was Supernatural Bloodlines, another show that never got off the ground. Then they tried to make a show based off the creator of the Cult, but that didn't work as well. Seems like all the spin-off shows just were all the time. Then it was The Wayward Sisters, a show the brothers ally Sheriff Jody Mills as well as female characters from season 13. Episode 10, The Wayward Sisters, supposed to be a backdoor pilot, but it wasn't picked up. Now I wonder why that happened. Maybe people didn't want to go with the female-centric episodes, I guess, or seasons or series? Or maybe CW figured having a female-centric series wasn't the way to go after the train wreck we call The Last Jedi that came out a month earlier. Now, I know it's two different companies and all that, but I'm just guessing. I don't know why they didn't pick it up, but now that I think about it, have you seen the CW DC shows lately? Yeah, good call. Now, as far as the impact, I would say, I think the show has become a cult show in a way. Many have fan fictions, some of them weird and weirder than the Raylo fan fictions. I never got into it and never tried to create mine because I was just for the show, the TV show, not for all the other stuff. But it'd been nice to see a movie based on Supernatural. Heck, even a theme park ride at some Six Flags park. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the whole entire series, analyzing everything. Maybe one day. The show's chemistry between the bros is what actually got me into it. They're arguing, they're womanizing. The brothers' camaraderie is what made the show interesting, plus along with the monsters too, what made me stick around for 15 seasons. But I know this show just didn't shy away from having beautiful women. They made sure they had beautiful women in this show, and they didn't fail, not once, in that department. I know some episodes or seasons were some duds, like particularly season 7 and season 8, but I also hated how they keep bringing back Lucifer. He was the big bad to be feared with for 2 seasons. After a while, Lucifer keep coming back he lost his threatening nature. Actually, he lost his threatening nature a long time ago. Well, yeah, I think the second time he brought back, he lost his threatening nature because he became a joke. Parker said it's the same for some of the angels and demons that couldn't stop appearing after a while. The show reached syndication in 2010, so it'll probably stay around in reruns on TNT and also Netflix for the coming future. Right next to Charm on TNT. I almost forgot to praise the use of the monsters in the show. They probably used every supernatural myth known to man on this show. Now, Back to the Future, the franchise, it's over. Probably have no movies of any sort. Maybe the CW might pull a 24 Prison Break later on and bring something back. Who knows? As for the show's stars and main characters, Jensen Ackles, he will move on to Eric Kripke's newest show, The Boys, as Soldier Boy. Well, also as Bobby, aka Jim Beaver, aka Bobby Singler, has made an appearance on the show as well as the U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Singer. Well, that's funny. Well, let's see how Ackles as the Soldier Boy goes over. Maybe I don't know too much about The Boys comic books, but I'm hoping maybe he beats up Homelander? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about The Boys. Maybe I gotta read that soon enough. I'm supposed to be a comic book fan. I didn't even read The Boys yet. What's going on with that? As for Jarrett, post-supernatural,
until one day, that wasn't an option.
So he will star in the reboot of the 1993 to 2001 TV series Walker, Texas Ranger that starred Chuck Norris. Jarrett had some big shoes to fill with that one. I wonder how long that show will last. It's funny, Austin, Texas has a day dedicated to Supernatural, commissioned by the mayor. For one, the mayor is a fan of the show, and two, Jared and Jensen also live in the city. Well, I would like to say more about this series, but it's just so much to cover. 15 seasons worth. Just too much. But I will say this, the show was fun. I feel like the last 10, 11 years I've been caught up. Not too much caught up, but caught up in the show. I feel like now that the show is over, a part of me has left. And this is probably the only show that I watched from season 1 to season 15. I never watched any other TV show like that. But seeing the brothers go out on zany, ridiculous missions against the supernatural was fun. But like I said before, all good things have to come to an end eventually.